it's Tamara from Dr. Digi Stamps. Dr. Digi has a new release out at the moment, and one of the images is this image, which is Heavy Metal Hugo. He does come with some extra images included, being one with being the guitar, so you can use that to make backgrounds and things like that, or just use the guitar itself. I've just used the main image today. I have coloured up with my Copic markers. It is a bit of a longer process colouring, so I didn't worry about including that here because I want to mainly show you how to make him interactive. So when I had printed out his image, I copied it again and just reduced it down just to kind of have the hair part, but it's best to do it by copying because that way you ensure that you'll have the same size hair that will fit directly over the top of his head. I then coloured that with my Copics to match what was underneath and just fussy cut around it to make just that separate hair panel. Now, size-wise, I just did a 5x7 background card, but obviously if you're like me, I'm in Australia, we use centimetres here, so the actual measurements are 25.5 centimetres by 17.5, scored at 12.7 centimetres. The blue panel I've used to kind of match it with the blue of his guitar is 17.5 by 12.4 centimetres, and the actual image panel that I've done for Heavy Metal Hugo is 16.2 by 11 centimeters. Now you will need to either if you've got any like little dies, circle dies, I've used this 1 centimeter die just to cut the actual hole in his hair, and then you just need something about double the size for behind to put your foam tape on to attach that so that his hair moves back and forth. So if you don't have circle dies, you should be able to just cut it with a craft knife and just make something a bit bigger behind. Now I've got some circle foam dies, but if you don't have these, you can just use squares, but try and just cut them to make them a bit softer around the edges, or just use cardboard and cut that into a circle. I like to double up on the foam tape, so we'll pull 2 of those off and attach it. Try and attach it in the middle of the circle so that you've got plenty of circumference around there, and then we'll just pop a second one on top, just to give it plenty of height and plenty of room to move around. Now with that, you just want to attach that the panel straight over the top of that, and then just take off that backing paper. Now try and center it up as best as possible because you want that hair on the top sitting perfectly over. Now to ensure that we've got a good amount of weight, you want to maybe put something a little bit heavy down the bottom of his hair, just so that it holds that hair down and also helps with the swinging motion as well. So I just have some like old adhesive gels, but you could really use anything that you could just glue or stick onto the bottom of his hair. So I'm just going to attach that down the bottom like so. And then we can attach his hair to those foam tapes. Now try and make it obviously as centered as possible, so I'll just stand up here and get that centered on, and that should hold that in place, and we'll see if that swings. So that swings back and forth. So that's going to be easier once we've attached it to this card to show how it swings. Now I've got a little bit of foam tape here, which I don't like using a lot, so I'm just going to attach some rectangles just around the edges like so, just to hold that and give that circle room to move around. And then we're going to want to attach that to our back panel. So obviously we want his hair sitting down as much as possible, and we're going to try and just center that up to get that right in the center of those squares. Now you can put a little bit of glue on that as well if you wanted to, if you're a bit worried about getting that straight. And we'll see in that just he like moves his hair back and forth like he's rocking out on the guitar. So I hope that gives you some ideas on how to use Heavy Metal Hugo, and yeah, I hope everyone has a rockin' week. Take care, bye.